What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my new video. So this will be the double swing build. I released level 1 to 50 guide in the right upper corner if you wanted to take a look. That's what I used during the leveling process from the start, from the launch. Today I will talk about the progression or the build from level 50 to 78. It's like the mid-game build, I would say, not end-game really. Even though there is some stuff that we won't probably change, very likely. So this is the dual wield, full dual wield double swing build. Excels absolutely top notch, better than any build for Barb on single target, and we're after elite and bosses, so I think that's why it's real good as well. So lunging strike, we bind it to dual wield because it's our gap closer, it's our opener as well, our fury generator because we're still not at a point where we don't need the basic skill, we actually do need that, so it makes it for amazing mobility build and class as well, really insane. Now with the after the nerf of the shouts, right? When Barb doesn't have Unstoppable, Unstoppable is full CC immunity. If you get caught outside of that, Barb is just dead. You will see sometimes when I don't have Unstoppable, aka the rallying cry, I still survive because I tried to make it a bit tanky. This is also after this video, or this is the stream footage, I get some upgrades. For 200 weapon, it's a stat stick, right? We use dual wield, so as a 200s, we're only looking for the stats, not really for the DPS. But I try to go for damage reduction while fortified especially, or close enemies, because we're a melee build. Close enemies is our jam. When it comes to damage, this is a two-man scaling. I know I got asked to showcase solo runs, which will be coming right up. I finished Renown, last location today. So those will be coming up as well from Nightmare Dungeons. I will live in those dungeons. So even double scaling, I can one-shot elites, but the only problem with that is ground stomp has a weird interaction. Ground stomp should stun, but most of the times it doesn't do that. It knocks the mobs on the ground, knocks them down, right? And that's not a CC, that's not a stun. And we are looking for stuns. That's why we can one-tap. Also, if someone is thinking this is not good for bosses because they cannot be stunned or CC'd. If you have a lot of stuns, a lot of CC, you fill up that white bar below that HP bar of the boss faster. And then we have the blue bar that is like a timer. And during that time, the boss is CC'd, so any damage to, I don't know, like slowed or stunned or frozen, whatever it is, it's all applied to the boss. So during that phase, we just absolutely delete the boss. Sometimes it doesn't even happen. We don't even get to the blue bar because this build is just a lot of damage. So we're using all three shouts. That's one thing I don't like about Barbs. Sadly, we are forced to use all three shouts to be effective. Maybe later on. But still, at higher levels of Nightmare Dungeons, you will still need all three shouts. Maybe we could replace Warcry with Wrath of the Berserker for more Unstoppable. It might be the play. I might try it. I might play some with some more combos. I might figure out some more stuff. We have such a high attack speed with Lunging Strike that we might not even need Ground Stone for stun. Since that's our opener, we might have, just the stun secured, and the stun right there. I'll show you where that is coming from. It's from our passives. That's why I love maces on Barbarian. Its scales are like, there is amazing passes for that. I love that. So this was just a little bit of showcase. I finished my line. This was a Champion's Demise dungeon. That's the best one to grind for levels and just even legendaries, items drops. We got lucky with the key. So there are 3 lanes. You want to do it like separately, so that's faster clear. And yeah, I will just take you straight to the business. So we are in game right now. Yes. I will go over the skill trees first, skill tree, and Paragon Board 2. So we got the Lunging Strike. With the bleed here, I will show you or tell you why is that. Because normally you wouldn't really want to go for that. That's a wasted point, but yeah. So double swing, we go with full berserk. With some of the aspect, and later on, we might be able to even ditch this berserk, and we would go for vulnerable because that's more important. Now we have exploit glyph. Exploit glyph is making your target like vulnerable in here. Applies vulnerable for 3 seconds when the enemy is damaged by you. But it is a 20-second cooldown. So it's like 70 every 17 seconds the target is vulnerable. So you know it's not guaranteed. For this is for bosses. For elites it's fine. We nuke them within a second. But for bosses that's a different story. So for now we go with the berserk tree here. We go to pressure point to adjust the vulnerability. If you were to go with this passive here, you don't need this. Ground Stomp for a Fury. Once again, going back to the Breath of the Berserker. If we go with the ultimate, we should go with the cooldown reduction because this would help a lot. Whirling Warcry for the resource. We could go points in here from from pressure point. Doesn't hurt. Or we could go with max HP. Challenging Shout for damage reduction. And mainly the Fury here. Good generation. Max HP as well. Warcry, I only went with Berserking. This one needs to have at least 6 enemies, which is a lot, and absolutely useless against bosses. And then Fortify, we don't need it because we got insane aspects for Fortify. Fully decked out passives here for duration of the shouts. We got heal here. We got the damage reduction for from the mobs. Movement speed for mobility. 1 point damage reduction, all stacked up with the Fury regen while berserking. We have non-stop berserk. More points into this would be better, or would be very good. But we go after the crit strike. Now the main thing is here, with any build for Barb, hamstring. We put only 1 point here. Your bleeding effects slow enemies. So we have 1 bleeding from lunging strike, but our main bleed comes from berserk ripping aspect right here. Every time you berserk, you apply bleeding. So that's why it's so good. We go with thick skin just to access counter offensive. As you can see, I got +2 from item, which is amulet, so it deals more damage. Normally from 3 points it deals 12% damage, so this is 8% bonus. Very good if you can go over the cap. Same thing with double swing. I went +9 from my dual wield. Next up we get attack speed from duelist because we're using dual wield, and the pinnacle of this build is Wallop. Your skills using bludgeoning weapons, but that's why we have one-handed mace in our dual wield. Deal increased damage to stunned or vulnerable. The target is always either of these two. In concussion, our skills with bludgeoning have a chance to stun the mobs for 3 seconds. So maybe this is interacting with the ground stone, so it's not working properly, maybe. But this fills up the stagger bar on the boss even faster, which is amazing. And last one is Unbridled Rage. Double Swing is amazing with this build, or like overall for Barb, because Unbridled Rage has a great synergy. Since a Double Swing is very cheap to use, without this Unbridled Rage, this skill is 25 Rage. 25 Fury. Now, if the target is stunned, once again, or knocked down, we get a full refund of 25 Fury. But since we have Unbridled, it costs us only 20 Fury. Which is pretty insane, in my opinion. You could go with Unconstrained, but it doesn't give you that much damage. This one is just unbeatable. Breath of the Berserker, I might do some more testings. We'll see. I might change some things up. I might even find it more powerful. I might find some more things powerful. When it comes to Paragon Board, the starting point, I went with some defensive sides here because we cannot underestimate the defensives. I'm playing softcore, but playing softcore doesn't mean you can just go full glass cannon. For those high-level nightmare dungeons, you need some defensives. Went for this glyph first, the exploit. I might change this as well for a different one. Not really sure which one first, or like which one I'll go for. I might go with the close enemies damage reduction, or like dealing more damage to them, which should be somewhere around here. There we go. We might put some, we might put territorial. We'll see about that though. But I went the left side here. You always want to go, when it comes to Paragon Board, you always want to go for both rare nodes because they are like 4 nodes in one, right? It's 2 stat points and then 2 additional stats like armor in this case. You want to meet the requirements as well. With more points in the future, I might put some stats here. And also keep in mind, glyphs can be leveled to level 20. And from level 15 glyph, it adds another +1 radius around here. So level 20 glyph would reach all the way around here. Next board, we go with the Weapon Master. Not for the Legendary at all. We go for the passives here. Huge damage increase, especially if you meet the requirement. And especially the movement speed from killing elite, which adds more to the mobility, right? These rare nodes are also amazing, so that's why I picked it first. Our second glyph is the shout cooldown reduction, obviously, especially with the latest nerf to this bad boy. It's pretty rough to keep them, you know, with uptime. Once again, if it's level 15 glyph, it would reach all the way around here. And I put, again, to the rare nodes. Dexterity, not even needed here, but I took it for the requirements for the other boards, other points here. So I'm level 79 right now in this game, not even 20. That's one more level and a couple more Paragon points from what you saw in the build, in the video, at the start of the video, I mean, in the showcase, in dungeon. So right now the crates are flying. It's more damage than what you saw, for sure. I can grid for 1 million right now, because double swing hits twice from both weapons, right? From one weapon each. So it's a 500,000, even more so from each weapon. It's pretty cracked. It's pretty wild. Second thing you wanna go for is this board, Warbringer. This is insane for surviving. Very easy to get the 45. And yeah, pure and kill. Another thing you wanna focus on first. Amazing. Great for the sustain. Now we went for the legendary node here. We went back for the glyph here. I went with the crit damage for core skills. Also skills that crit give you fury, so even more for sustain. Very good for sustain. If you crit with lunging strike, we get insane attack speed. Insane attack speed. I will show you in a bit. Goes well for the fury regen. Didn't go for these normal nodes, but I will take them later on because they're too good to pass upon. I just said I'm gonna take this for the requirements. So this is something I picked during leveling while I was grinding. I didn't really go into the like huge depth already crafted, but I will probably change that. So we just went here for the rare node once again. Then we went on the third board, which is the one I'm working on right now, and this one is the Carnage one. So first I went for these passives, but you definitely want to go for Berserking Duration. This helps a lot. So duration here. And then for the glyph, I picked the healthy one. You deal more damage while you're healthy. The amount of 45 you have and damage reduction, you will be healthy 24/7 almost, right? Healthy is if you're above 80% HP. So above 80% HP, you get this damage increase. And the potions heal you for more as well. I don't have it activated though, because I don't have willpower. I need to put points in here. I mean, to activate it. But yeah, I will definitely go for this passive because it is a offensive and defensive passive in one. Amazing. I meet the requirements. I'm pretty stacked on all stats for a reason. More damage here with Berserking and Strength. Don't forget, Strength gives you armor. Armor is one of the best damage mitigations in the game. After that, I will go for this way for the Legendary Power because attack speed has insane scaling for damage. Faster attacks, the more DPS you have, right? We have aspects for attack speed. This paired with this is going to be insane. We have quite high crit chance as well. And then we will go for this rare node. Once again, more damage. The next one, we'll see what I'm going to go with. Probably something for defensives because we have a lot of offensive abilities. I might go for more Berserk Duration. There is one passive there, I think. But this is for the Paragon Board. Also great chance, once again, pair well with this. Stunt slowed. We have non-stop slow thanks to our passive here that I just explained. When it comes to gear, once again, armor. As you can see, I'm 62% damage reduction. But strength is not too bad for my level, I would say. Stats are very high. I'm talking about secondary stats that are required to run for Paragon boards, so we are fine with that. That's thanks to all stats on weapons, but let's go from the top, from the armor. There are two things you want to focus on the headpiece. Cooldown reduction and damage while berserking, or there is a duration while berserking, I believe. Main stat like strength is great. I put the fat barrier aspect for this one, because this one pairs extremely well with a... This is, by the way, an aspect you can get from a dungeon. All my builds I do with aspects from dungeons, so there's no RNG involved. You can have full accessible build 100%. But there is one aspect that I dropped and it pairs very well with this one, is the damage while you have barrier active. I put it on Duender because aspects on Duenders have 2 times more effect, 2 times stronger, while on Amulet it's 1.5 times stronger. So it's just like 100% stronger, Amulet is 50%. Chest piece, we are looking for this unique piece. More cooldown reduction once you if inflict bleed. Now the reason for the lunging strike having bleed is you would think that berserk ripping that I talked about earlier would apply to this Rage of Harrogath, right? It goes hand in hand. You apply bleed while berserking, and here you have a chance to get reduced cooldowns if you apply the bleeding on elite. It doesn't work with this bleed. It doesn't work with the bleed from the Tough as Nails passive as well, which would be really broken. You know, if you have thorns, it applies bleed. That'll be crazy. The only bleed that applies to that I found is working is lunging strike. That's why we have that. So this chest is really, really great, especially after latest nerf to the cooldown reduction. But it is what it is. Hopefully they will fix it. I tried tweeting at the devs on Twitter. They didn't reply. But yeah, you know, affixes on this chest piece are amazing as well. Great chance against elites. We got physical damage, damage reduction, some thorns. We don't really need that, but it's okay. I might do some more testing on the bleeding from Tough as Nails or the berserk ripping. We'll see about that. There are hotfixes. There is stuff going on the background they don't talk about. It might be fixed. Now gloves, you want to look for attack speed, crit chance, and +2 double swing. That's it. Overpower, not needed that much because that's only 3% chance to occur. We need some RNG to have this proc. But yeah, there is another option. You could go instead of lunging strike, but that wouldn't really proc a Rage of Harrogath. If it did though, if berserk ripping would work, I would want to go with the bash, because if you use bash with 200 and you crit strike 4 times, you have guaranteed overpower, and overpower is the highest damage in the game. So if you can get, I did this during leveling, and oh my god, it was insane. That's why we want to stack attack speed. So because 200 attacks are slower. So if you had that, as you can see here in my stat sheet, overpower damage increase right here is 360%. And I am not even spec'd into overpower. So that would be crazy good. In the future, if it works with different bleed, we will definitely going with that. So I was on the lowest roll attack speed, which is sad. I could have 2 times stronger than that, but it is what it is. Aspect here, we have the spread on CC. When you could notice that we have a lot of stuns, especially with this aspect here. Direct damage against bleeding enemies has a chance to stun them. So lunging strike, our opener, could stun the target. Now with this, all the CC, all these stuns, we can spread on more mobs, which again comes hand in hand with survivability as well in those high-level dungeon nightmare dungeons. Our pants, these are pretty good. Like 28% damage increase after killing an elite is just insane for 4 seconds. Damage reduction while fortified. As you can see, this aspect is hands down the best for 45 for Barbarian, my personal favorite. With our high attack speed, thanks to dual wield and the aspects I will show in a second, we have very high frequency of attacks, so proccing this is no problem. We are just like that in full 45 for the whole HP bar, which is almost 4,000 HP. Pretty low HP, by the way. We could have it higher. That's why we are rocking with blue gems as well. So damage reduction while fortified, damage reduction overall, and then strength once again. Great for skill damage. That's our main stat, and armor as well. We got the boots. This one, once again, anemia. This one drops from a dungeon. Sadly, this one doesn't drop from a dungeon, but there's a different one. Unwrathing something. Hold on, I will find it. It's a defensive one, and it is exactly this one. Numbing Breath, my bad. Yeah, each point generated. This is the same story almost, but it's just harder to get at first. It's like a build-up. So you would build this fortify on the normal mob before heading into the elite pack. Droppable from dungeon. Once again, everything drops from dungeon. This one doesn't drop from dungeon though, I believe. Actually, it does. Shared Misery. What am I saying? That one is resource, I believe. And it should be... Or this one is utility, actually. Yes. Right here. Shared Misery. Drops from a dungeon. Oblivion, Havazar. That was actually the last dungeon I was doing. This one is locked behind a stronghold, so you gotta clear the stronghold first. Now the boots. We want to look for the Berserk duration. 30% is insane. And then Fury Cost reduction. Insanely good for the uptime of the build as well. I would want to get movement speed instead of the damage reduction while injured. I would really want that. All stats, better to reach that Paragon Board, but not really needed because it's not that many stats, I mean. So you could roll something else. Now our weapons. This is the Twender. We are only using this as a stat stick. You want to look for a couple of things when it comes to offensive stats because each damage offensive stat has its own bucket, if you will. Now the own buckets and shared buckets, we want to look for vulnerable damage, which is its own bucket. We want to look for crit chance and crit damage in a separate bucket. We want to look for the main stat or attack speed, and then we want to look for the damage to stunned, core skill damage, damage to slowed, stuff like that. That's what we want to look for. Then all stats, once again, to meet the requirements for our Paragon Board. Amazing. The only thing I'm missing here is damage to closed. That's also the same category as damage to stunned, but that's whatever. So we get a pretty good roll on the vulnerable. Overpower damage from Twender as an implicit. Implicit is the core of the weapon, which you can see the overpower right there. Right there. We're rocking blue gems because CC enemies are non-stop. We apply slow. Slow is a CC. So this happens non-stop. You could go with green gems that give you crit damage to vulnerable targets if you rock with the double swing vulnerable upgrade. Now the pinnacle also for the gear is this hammer. So once again, core skill damage, crit strike damage, slow damage, amazing. I would want to get vulnerable or yeah, I would want to get vulnerable instead of the lucky hit. That lucky hit is useless. So imprint is basic skill here. That's where the attack speed comes from. It's really wild. The attack speed is really cracked. Our sword here, all stats vulnerable close bleeding enemies. So close bleeding is the same bucket. Great damage is the implicit on the sword. That's why we have the sword. All stats, we could probably get something better. Like crit damage would be the best instead of that. Definitely, that would be great upgrade. We have the Berserk Ripping. You can put these on one-handers. Basic skill attack speed could be good on two-hander as well because it's once again it would be like 60%, but it's fine on the one-handers. The other aspect we're gonna put on two-hander. This one drops from a dungeon. This one drops from a dungeon. This one as well. All these aspects. I did get a better drop. Now aspect from dungeons have always the lowest roll. So from a dungeon, if I was to put this, it would be 40%, but I got a drop 76%. Insane. Stunned enemies, they're always dead, right? Distant enemies have a chance to get stunned. We don't really look at that, but we look at the damage increase to stunned enemies. Thanks to our ground stomp and all the stuff from the passives for bludgeoning weapons. Rings, this is my recent upgrade. This was not in the footage at first, in the beginning. Crit chance, crit damage, vulnerable, max fury. Instead of max fury, we would want something else, but it's fine. Shout aspect, this one does not drop from the dungeon. This is a random drop, very hard to get. But you can get a different one, like Fury while your shouts are active is a good aspect. That one drops from the dungeon. Second rank, it's still Sacred from World Tier 3. I'm unable to find a replacement. Crit chance, vulnerable, damage to stunned, berserking, amazing. We got Umbral aspect on it, that drops from a dungeon, not that great. 1 Fury. When you CC enemy, we CC a lot, but I will probably go with the aspect that gives you Fury per active shout, or like while your shouts are active per second, that will be better. Our amulet, sadly this aspect is also a drop, not from a dungeon, but you want to look for this one. Again, on amulet, it's increased effect. So this goes very well with the basic skill. The only thing is, this one, it does apply to all skills, so even double swing at attack speed. So we are fat damage reduction for close enemies, that's a max roll. Good damage increase. Cooldown reduction and counter offensive. That's the 45 passive here you just saw. That's 8% damage increase from this passive right here. Very good. So essentially it's almost like 17% damage increase. And you want to definitely look for a cooldown reduction for both amulet and the headpiece, and you want to max the upgrades to 5 stars, which I haven't done because I was very poor and I forgot about it. But this would be the gems, the upgrades and the gear. The consumables, we want to look for one potion, which is attack speed. This one is just so good. Once again, scaling for attack speed. I didn't really find like a cap for attack speed. Might be some diminishing return attack speed, but I haven't really found it. I haven't really reached it. Not sure if there is one. Another good one is Razor's production here. Very good too. And if you wanna like while leveling, cheap potions are these ones. Weak iron bar, cheapest ones. You can just grab them in bulk because early on it's kind of hard to get these flowers for the craft. And my apologies for making this video a bit long. It is what it is. There is so much to talk about. I could go on for many, many more minutes, but I will end it here. I would like to thank you all for watching. If I missed anything, if I forgot about anything, let me know in the comment section. I'm streaming every day live on Twitch. All links will be down in the description. You can join my Discord as well. I will also leave this build on in the description too. On DiabloBuilds, they will have a live simulator for DPS, which is insane. But this is the build without the Rage of Harrogath. All I did is I just put 1 point from the heal here, and I put it in the bleeding. So I'll leave this in the description. This is the skill tree. The armor will be added later on as well. The armor can be, you know, created if you go with the weapon or whatever. With Berserk Ripping, you can put the aspect, you can put item power. Because if you put some stats on it, like crit chance, we go with attack speed, we go with double swing real quick. I will show you. If you increase item power, those numbers will change, right? So we have something around here, let's say. So that's what I will have up for every piece as well. So we'll see what stats to look for as well. And there we go. Thank you everybody for watching. I wish you all a good one. Hopefully see you soon. And take it easy. Peace.